Welcome to the part 2 of the chapter 11, New Empires and Kingdom. Let's go to the first subtopic here, Harshavardhana and the Harshavardhana. While we learn about Gupta rulers from their inscriptions and coins, we can find out about some kings from the biographies. Harshavardhana, who ruled India 1400 years ago, was one such ruler. We know about him from the biography written by his court poet Banabhatta. Here is a picture of King Harshavardhana during the war battle. His court poet Banabhatta wrote the biography of Harshavardhana in Sanskrit, which was called as Harshavardhana. Here is a picture of the poet Banabhatta. This biography gives us the genealogy of Harshavardhana and ends with his becoming the king. Here is a picture of the Chinese scholar Xuanzang. He also had spent a lot of time at Harshavardhana's court, and he too left a detailed account of what he saw. Harshavardhana was not the eldest son of his father. It is a very interesting fact to know that though he was not the eldest son, he became the king of Thanesar after both his father and elder brother died. His brother-in-law was the ruler of the kingdom Kannauj, and he was killed by the ruler of Bengal. Harshavardhana led an army against the ruler of Bengal and defeated him. The Pallavas, Chalukyas and Pulakeshin's Prashasti. The Pallavas and Chalukyas were the most important ruling dynasties in the South India during this period. The kingdom of Pallavas spread from the region around their capital Kanchipuram to the Kaveri Delta, while that of Chalukyas was centered around the Raichur, Dwab, between the rivers Krishna and Tungabhadra. Here is a map which shows the demarcation of the Chalukyas kingdom and the Pallavas empire, marked in red and yellow respectively. Aihole, the capital of Chalukyas, was an important trading center. It developed as a religious center with a number of temples around it. Here you can see Aihole marked in a red dot. This is the empire of Chalukyas. The Pallavas and Chalukyas frequently raided one another's land, especially attacking the capital cities, which were prosperous towns. best known Chalukya ruler was Pulakeshin II. Here is a picture of Pulakeshin II. We know about him from the Prashastik composed by his court poet Ravi Kirti. The Prashastik says about his ancestors who were traced back through 4 generations from father to son. Pulakeshin evidently got the kingdom from his uncle. According to Ravi Kirti, Pulakeshin led an expedition along both west and east coast. He also checked the advance of Harshavardhana and defeated him. Let us go to the next subtopic. How were these kingdoms administered? The kings adopted a number of steps to win the support of men who were powerful either economically or socially. For instance, firstly, some important administrative posts were hereditary. This means that the son succeeded father to these posts. For example, the poet Harishena was a Mahadanda Nayaka or chief judicial officer just like his father. Secondly, sometimes one person held many offices. For example, beside being a Mahadanda Nayaka, Harishena was also Kumar Amatya, meaning an important minister, and Sandvi Vigraka, meaning minister of peace and war. Thirdly, besides, important men had a say in local administration. These included the Nagara Shrestha or chief banker or merchants of the city. Let us go to the next subtopic, a new kind of army. These kings maintained a well-organized army with elephants, chariots, cavalry, and foot soldiers. You can see the picture of the well-maintained army by these kings. Besides, there were many military leaders who provided the king with troops whenever he needed them. They were not paid regular salaries. Instead, some of them received grants of lands. They collected revenue from the land and used this to maintain soldiers and horses and provide shipment to the warfare. These men, known as Samantas, whenever the rulers were weak, Samantas tried to become independent and became powerful. Thank you, students, for listening patiently. Have a wonderful day.